You want to be hardcore, you want to be extreme. Well, if you're like the Sandman, then you're listening to the podcast Drunk Wrestling History, dudes. And please be drunk when you hear it.
We've got Bush.
I like to fuck. Do you like to fuck?
It's just money shots, chairs all over Barrett.
Those guys with bang butts think they're a big deal. My dick is small.
What's up, Drunk Marks and Drunk Marquettes? Welcome to Drunk Wrestling History. I'm your designated host. I'm Adam. I'm 6'2". My knees hurt, and I'm gonna stand up for a bit. And they are the Drunk Wrestling Historians.
That dude was actually 6'5", and this is Eddie, and I intend to get, shit, what was my catchphrase? I intend to get properly fucked up, if no one disagrees.
And this is Scott. For those about to drink, we salute you.
You sure he was 6'5", not 7'20"?
Yeah, right. He was 6'7".
I'm seated down from my peripheral. The guy's like, oh my god, that guy's humongous.
Yeah, Adam's talking about the guy that sat next to me at the Sharks game the other night, who was a giant.
Oh,
and he stood up at one point during like the third, and
Just
someone yelled at him,
Yeah.
like, "Sit down." And he turned around. And he goes, "I'm 6'5". My knee's bothering me. I'm gonna stand up for a couple seconds."
nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah. And then he's kind of sat down right. He was only standing for like 30 seconds, but it was pretty funny.
He claimed an injury. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I believe him. You know what I mean? Why would you stand when you can sit?
Well,
but
true,
I've had that. You know, you want to stand up because your knees.
There's only so much aisle space in there.
Yeah. The Shark Tank is cramped.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the seats are a little close. Yeah.
Well, that's every arena.
True. But anyways, welcome to our episode today. Hope all of you have a nice beverage in hand, enjoying some wrestling wisdom that we are about to give to all of you. First off, head over to whatamaneuver.net. Get Drunk Wrestling History t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, onesies, especially for the miniature Drunk Marks and Drunk Marquettes. By now, or I would say this is early Valentine's Day gift purchasing time, so
You'll have it if you.
get on it.
Oh, nah. You know what? By the time they hear this, it'll be too late.
All right.
Well, hopefully you got laid without one. But next Valentine's Day, it'll get you laid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
there you go.
Yeah, but
Or
for
laid like retro laid, or retroactively laid,
Is that a thing?
like a retroactive hand job at least, maybe.
but that doesn't result in kids. But either way, you could get your.
It could.
Yeah, and I've never spawned more Kleenex, so yeah, shit ain't working.
It'll result in kids in liquid form. Just head over to whatamaneuver.net and buy a fucking shirt.
Buy a fucking shirt.
And what are we drinking?
I'm drinking. I'm finishing off that bottle of Terramana that you got me for Christmas, Scott.
Finishing it off.
Finishing it off. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been kind of going easy. I mean, I'm pretty much, no, I haven't. I've just had a bunch of stuff in the house, so I've been kind of switching back and forth between what I've been drinking.
I was going to say, you've been on it for 3 weeks now. I'm surprised it's still around.
I know. Yeah, I guess it has only been 3 weeks, huh? So, yeah, I'm going to, this is the end of it, this glass right here. That's about, I don't know, that's probably 2 shots. And then on deck, I got an 805.
Nice.
And that's what I'm going to drink the rest of the night is 805.
Very nice. I'm going traditional blackened in water. A little bit heavier on the blackened this time. Dude, this cask strength, this special edition, I don't know if this is the Bevmo or Total Wine special edition.
Yeah.
This shit fucks you up, dude.
Well, it's cask strength, yeah, so they don't cut it with anything.
Yeah, dude. Heavy duty. So,
yeah.
Everybody listening, to my fellow podcasters, cheers.
Look, I am.
Oh.
I've got some Got some Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Oh, is that from Taco Bell?
That is from Taco
Yes, it
Bell.
is.
Hell
Did you
yeah.
stop at Taco Bell? Did you stop at Taco Bell on the way home?
Of course.
Is that why we're getting started a half hour late?
No, it was the rain.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Taco Bell was like 2 minutes in and out. But
Look, if
so
Adam has
it
to
was
have
the
an
rain.
excuse to get by me, all he has to do is hold up a Taco Bell cup, and I'm like, that's excused.
Did you get your free tacos? Yeah, I got mine.
Like a book.
I got mine earlier today. So for people who aren't in the Bay Area, if you go to a Sharks game, if they score 4 goals, you get 4 free tacos from Taco Bell. They give you a promo code.
For
so
in
I
the
cashed
net
mine in at
tacos
lunch.
you get.
Is that all you got?
Yeah.
I fucking got a quesadilla and a drink with it too. Dude, that shit was $9 for a quesadilla and a soda.
Yeah, the quesadilla is like $4 or $5, and the
It was
drinks are like
$6, dude.
$3.50.
$6 for a quesadilla.
Yeah.
What was
yeah.
it? I want to say there's some website out there just value wise. If you're getting a quesadilla, might as well just get that small chicken chipotle wrap.
Yes.
Because it's practically the same thing.
Yep.
No, it's not. The quesadilla's hella good, dude.
No, that chicken chipotle thing is bomb though.
It is.
Yeah, it's not as good as the quesadilla though.
I don't know. Their quesadilla is basic though. It just seems really flat, and there's not much to it.
You're basic.
I am, but you still
And,
love
and
me.
you know what I mean? And I like you too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
For the price, it
I'm gonna
feels
edit out
better.
me saying that too. I don't want to. I don't want to put you over.
You know, you can't say nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first nice thing I've ever said on the show. Unless we were talking about Trish Stratus or fucking Sonny's ECW referee gear.
Yeah. You do have an image to uphold.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, before we get started, I have one thing. The SpeakPipe is still open, so if anyone wants to leave us a message on SpeakPipe, go to speakpipe.com. The link is in my bio on Twitter, but you can also just search Drunk Wrestling History on there. I got a message from our buddy Gallon. I think he said he had left one, but it didn't go through. Because sometimes the website's fucked up. So I was like, dude, leave another one. And I just checked right as we were getting started, and we have a message from him. So here we go.
This is your buddy Galen.
What's Galen?
That is how you pronounce my name. But hey, I'm not worried about it. I know Gallon is a pretty common, pronunciation.
It's a unit of measurement.
Just wanted to thank you guys for all the content that you guys produce. It's really, it's fantastic work. So kudos to you guys. But I hope you guys are enjoying your California winters because it's pretty damn cold here in Kansas, where I'm from. But keep doing what you're doing. I really appreciate everything you guys have done. The range of your content is always really good. I like the fact that, one episode can be about some more modern, current day things, and then the next episode's from something from the 70s, So I like the way that you guys jump back and forth on that. But anyway, have a good one. Stay drunk. Enjoy wrestling responsibly, guys. Have a good one.
Done.
Well, we will stay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we can honor that request.
If we must.
Yeah,
And Eddie, it's Galen for future reference.
dude, I've been saying his name wrong for like 2 years. But like you said, that's a common way to pronounce it. So like, how are we supposed to know?
Right. We say Gallon way more than Galen, so
Yeah,
you
well,
know
it's
what?
good to have it.
We'll get in the habit of it. We'll make it right.
That's good to have it cleared up.
Right.
It's good to have it cleared up, but I think it's been done so much that it's become running gag phase. So it's always going to be Galen Gallon.
Yeah, maybe we just stick with that.
Galen Gallon.
Yeah.
I wonder if I hope we get everyone else's names right. I hope we have Ted's name right.
Well, look, how many listeners have a nickname, kind of, sort of? Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Metropolis.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for leaving that message. And it's always great to hear from any of you. So anyone else wants to leave us a message, just it's probably best if you tweet me after you do it, because I don't check it every day because we don't get a lot. So if you leave a message, hit me up on Twitter and let me know, and we'll read it or we'll play it on the show.
And to Galen's point, he's going to love tonight's episode because we are taking it back.
We're taking it back.
Yeah, modern stuff last episode, and we are taking this one back to the year of our Lord, 1983 at the Greensboro Coliseum. This is Season 1, Episode 1 on Peacock. Jim Crockett Productions presents Starrcade 1983, A Flair for the Gold. Commentators are Bob Caudle, Gordon Solie, ring announcer Tom Miller, backstage interviewers Barbara Clary, and high school student completing his volunteering in the community hours, Tony Schiavone.
What'd you say? It's community service hours.
No, his high school community volunteering hours.
Community volunteering hours.
I mean,
okay, not that he got in trouble, but that he's in high school. Yeah,
I mean, he
like
looks
a
14.
child.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to throw this out there. Did anybody see a young Tony Schiavone and immediately go, holy shit, that's a young Justin Bieber?
No.
Pull up a pic of young Justin Bieber.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Schiavone looks dead on fucking young Justin Bieber. The hair, the young face, like everything about it is like young Justin Bieber, dude. It's crazy. Much different career paths as life went on for both of them, but yeah, he looks just like a very young Justin Bieber. It's crazy.
I would have caught that. I don't think about Justin Bieber as much as you do.
You should. You probably finish more. Just saying. And faster.
Faster. I don't know if I could do it faster.
Man, if only
goddamn.
if only Usher found Tony Schiavone instead of Justin, the world be in a better state right now.
So I was 9 when this pay-per-view came out.
Okay, I was 5.
Got it.
I wasn't even in the nutsack yet.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's very old timey. It's like this is a long time ago.
It is. And is this the first like pay-per-view?
Yeah,
The first
it is.
ever,
This
right?
is
This is the
known-
first ever, like this is the first introduction to the world of this is what we can do when you pay for a show.
Yes, I believe it was the first. Yeah, exactly. Because like cable was new. You know what I mean? Like not a lot of people had cable at this point.
Yeah, it was still kind of a new thing.
Yeah, and you know how cable was, it sort of went out in different places at different times.
Yeah.
I know for whatever reason Columbus was one of the first places to get cable, or to get major cable penetration anyway.
Yeah.
As we used to call it when I worked for the cable company. But yeah, this was, as far as I know, they claim it was the first pay-per-view. So as far as I know, yeah, it had to have been.
Yeah, as far as I know, this was the first.
Yeah.
Makes sense because, like, you could probably take a shot every time Solie said, this is a new era for professional wrestling.
Well,
Right.
I think Solie took a shot every time he said that. and we'll get into that. But yeah, we're going back to like the infancy. This is like the dark ages of modern wrestling.
Well, it is. I mean, 1983. This is a year, but like Hulkamania wasn't even born yet, Adam. Like, much less Adam wasn't born. Hulkamania wasn't
Yeah.
even born.
No Hulkamania?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Vince had bought WWE the year before this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So the WWE expansion was brand new. It was barely expanded into any. It was probably in a dozen TV markets at this point.
Yeah, NWA
But-
still had stars.
NWA
Yeah,
still had stars.
Vince hadn't plucked them yet.
And territories.
And territories, exactly. Yeah, so this
Yeah,
was before
NWA
the
was
huge
still-
boom.
Yeah, and the reason. So we'll get into the background of why we're doing this episode. Last year was the 75th anniversary of the NWA. It started in, I think it was August. It was summer, I think, anyway, 1948. And I wanted to do an episode about the NWA and just kind of go into the territories and the history, the overall history of the NWA, because I'm fascinated by it. I just finished reading Tim Hornbaker's book about the NWA. It's a killer book. I know. But you should do like a Marks. We should get like a Marks sound effect for that.
Dude, you know
Ogre
Jeff has,
saying
you know
Marks.
that Office Depot, the easy button? You hit it, and it's just like the easy button.
Yeah.
Jeff has one that's
Yeah.
a mark button. You hit it, and it goes, Mark.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get one.
That's awesome. I love it.
So when you start to go into business for yourself, talking about history, I'm just going to bring it out and slap it. Mark.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't done it. Way to ruin the surprise, because that would have been hilarious. You would have killed me with that shit. But anyway, so last year we wanted to do a 75th anniversary of the NWA. We never got around to it. Instead, we were busy doing like, I don't know, Brutus the Beefcake episode or
Yeah, talking about his feet in the strip club bit that he did.
yeah, whatever nonsense we did last year. I don't even remember. But I came up with this over the summer, so we did quite a few since then. And then I was like, okay, let's finally get around to that, and we'll just do it a year late, like we do with everything else. And then we were like, what pay-per-view do we want to do? We haven't done a WCW one in a long time. And even though this isn't WCW, it's kind of the precursor
The connection's
to it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were like, yeah, exactly. So we were like, let's start with this. It's the first pay-per-view. And it really, by the time we get to the end of it, it really is, how do you say it? The end of an era and the beginning of a new era.
Right. Right. And
ways.
it's
Like,
pretty fascinating to go watch even something from like the late 80s, early 90s that WWF put on, and then kind of look back to what this presentation was and go, wow, even in like less than 10 years, they were growing by leaps and bounds with what they could do. Because, for example, I watched this and then I put on Halloween Havoc 1990. And holy shit, I mean, the difference in the presentations. Yes, you still had your kindergartner stage setup, you know, that we would see, that we know and love WCW pay-per-views for. But man, the leaps and bounds that they grew just within 7 years was absolutely incredible.
Right. It was lit properly. They had music.
Yeah.
You know, they had guys with good costumes, all that shit. Yeah, the production went way up.
It was way different. Yep.
Totally.
Were you playing
And that was
old-timey music in the background?
I am. Yeah, did you just notice that now?
Bitch.
You haven't played it for like 5 minutes.
I was only catching bits and pieces as I was talking.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very rude of
Through
you,
the-
I might
How's it feel?
It's like an hour-long YouTube thing. Should I just play it the whole time?
No, definitely not. No, it felt like I was eating in Farrell's ice cream parlor. If you really want to start dating yourself from the 80s and the late 70s, like there you go.
I don't know that. I know Harold's ice cream.
You don't know Farrell's ice cream parlor, really?
No, I don't know
It
that.
was like a Bay Area staple. I think it was at Southland Mall.
Oh,
Farrell's.
when they had a skate. Well, let's not go down the Southland Mall rabbit hole. I got
save
things
that
I
for
don't want.
another episode.
Things I don't want in the public domain.
They had a taqueria called Los Pericuas.
They did?
I think so. Or
don't
maybe
remember
that's
that.
just what we called it. I don't remember.
It's
Is
Puerto
that
Rican
before-
taqueria. That doesn't even make sense.
Like way back then or before what it is
Late
now?
90s, like 96, 97, somewhere in there.
I'm trying
Still
to
talking about the mall.
Still talking about the mall.
Cyberstation was my shit.
100%
All right,
of the
let's
listeners are like, what the fuck is Southland?
Yeah, I know exactly. What's a mall?
Oh, shit, dude. Yeah, right?
They're like, I saw. Oh, is that thing I saw on Stranger Things?
Oh, man. All right.
All right,
yeah.
let's get into the pay per view,
Okay,
Adam.
boomers. So, like, without any cold opens, right into the intro for match. First one is a tag team match: the Assassins with Paul Jones versus Bugsy McGraw and Rufus R. Jones.
Well, and not only is there no intro, it hits the air with Gordon Solie mid-sentence.
Yeah.
And everyone's in the ring. You don't even know what he's talking about because he starts mid-sentence. He forget Bugsy McGraw's name, and then Bob Caudle interrupts him to set up the match, and I think Gordon Solie's already drunk.
Yeah.
Right?
He tore it up. Yeah, I blame
Yeah,
Flair
he
for
ju-
that one.
Yeah, he was hanging out with Flair.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah he
had
might
some
have
party
just
favors
walked by
and-
Flair.
This is what wrestlers looked like before Vince took over. I just want to throw that out there. If you put on this
Oh,
pay-per-view,
right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, wrestlers, this is what they look like before Vince went global expansion.
Yeah, they look like they could kick your ass, but they look
For
like
sure.
like the drunks at the dive bar down the street. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, like beer bellies, not they're small arms, usually like a big chest, big shoulders, but like they almost look like they did like they worked out their chest and shoulders, but not their arms at all.
They just benched all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and drank. They weren't like those old school bodybuilders with bodybuilders like Arnold with the gallon of milk in the gym. They were in there with like a 40.
Right. And a pack of cigarettes. Yeah. That's how they
they're
got
sitting-
down.
Yeah, they're smoking a cigarette between sets.
Exactly, yeah. But never skip chest day. We would skip legs and arms day, but never chest.
Yeah, you only got to go to the gym once a week, brother.
Yeah. Cardio, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, you pick up a pack of Swensons on the way. Or Pall Malls.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Bugsy
They
McGraw is
still
a
make
terrible.
Camel? I don't know.
Bugsy McGraw is a terrible name,
Oh, dude.
right? Like, it sounds like Bugs Bunny fucked Quick Draw McGraw or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you
First
took two cartoon
Bugsy I
characters.
know was the old Sega Genesis game.
But
Yeah,
dude,
does anybody
Rufus
hear Bugsy
Jones, that's not much better.
at least it sounds like a real name.
And the
You know what I mean? Like, you can-
Assassins?
well, I mean, the Assassins are cool. Who were the Assassins?
I have no idea.
Oh, see, I didn't look it up because I figured you would know.
No, I have no idea. I didn't even bother. I'm like, this is garbage, dude.
Well, it was garbage. So the Assassins are like two big fucks. Well, the one dude is really big, and they're in masks.
It
like,
could have been
masked and,
anybody,
like-
though. Honestly, like, WCW
Yeah.
is known for that. Like, throw anybody under a mask and just have them go in the ring. So that's why I
Right,
didn't look
right,
it up.
that's
I'm like,
true.
this could have been anybody. Like, I don't even know if this was an established tag team at this point.
Yeah.
Which I
Could've
guess
been
they
any
were.
combination of people.
Okay, there you go. So it was a number of guys because you could throw
Wait.
anybody in a mask.
Yeah.
Wait, here we go.
Here we go.
Joseph Hamilton
Oh,
and Raymond Constantine Fernandez.
Oh, the Hall of Famers.
well, that makes sense. Raymond. And Joseph.
Hercules.
Oh, that is Hercules.
Wait, what? No.
'cause
Neither
the
of
one
those
dude
were
was-
Hercules. No fucking way.
Assassin number 2 is Hercules.
Later on.
Hercules.
Later on.
I bet that was Hercules then before steroids.
Oh, no fucking way, dude. No fucking way that he makes that transformation in a year. There's no fucking way that that was Hercules in that match. No way.
I don't doubt it, dude.
Okay. Dude, how many steroids would he... That's a lot of needles. To go from looking like that to look like Hercules?
Yeah. Well, no, he was big. Because it was the one dude who was a big fat dude, and the other dude looked like he was in good shape. His whole body was covered up, so you couldn't see, how toned he was. But he wasn't. He was like a, more lean dude. He wasn't like the one dude looked like fucking Earthquake.
So, Adam,
And
does
the
it
other
show
dude-
that in Starrcade 83 that one of the assassins was Hercules?
Yes.
Holy
Yes, I absolutely
shit.
Yeah,
believe that. I totally believe that was Hercules.
On the list, it's they say assassin number 1 and assassin number 2. The link tells me who specifically it was that night.
Okay, well, look,
So
if I'm
number-
making a steroid commercial, I'm doing the before and after from that fucking match to Hercules in like 1988.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's how I sell steroids. Right there.
Yeah.
Boom. Done.
Right. Yeah, you'll sell steroids better than Maven does on his YouTube channel.
Right.
So to get into the match, I don't know. The match was fine, I guess. The crowd really liked Rufus. Rufus was over. He ends up hit a hot tag at one point. The crowd goes crazy.
He reminded me of Dusty Rhodes in his mannerisms and the way
I
he
was going to say
wrestling.
that. I was going to say, did Dusty rip him off? Because he's an older dude.
Or,
I was about
or
to say
vice
he
versa.
reminds me of Willie Mack.
Or that too, yeah. But I
Yeah,
think
but the
Dusty
way he-
was already established at that point. I don't know how established Rufus was. But they had very similar mannerisms, dude.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
He really reminded me. That was like one of the first notes I had. Is he really reminds me of Dusty? Yeah, like if you just saw him, you'd be like, oh, he ripped. One of them ripped each other off. Yeah,
Right.
They're very similar. He goes for a roll up, and the hard camera looks like it falls over. And Gordon Solie goes quiet for a long time. I think Gordon knocked the camera over.
Oh, no way. That would make sense.
Yeah,
You're
he's reaching
right there.
he's reaching for his bottle of scotch.
Yeah, how many times have we done that? Knock something over as we're reaching for a fucking alcohol?
Well, that's what. So I have one of those Galileo thermometers or whatever the thing's called, the glass thing where the things float in the water.
Right.
And that's right next to the desk. I put it behind the TV whenever we're recording.
So
'cause
you
I'm
don't
afraid
like
to knock
boop.
it over.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't just, and it's not even near it's on the opposite side of where my drink is, but I get it out of my way. They should have put Gordon Solie a couple rows behind the camera for that reason.
Right. The next
The
pay-per-view
finish, yeah. Rufus makes a hot tag to Bugsy. Bugsy clears the ring. We get all four of them in the ring for a minute. Bugsy shoots one of them into the ropes. You don't know which one is which. He tags out, and he doesn't see the other dude that assassin tags out. Bugsy, it's like a blind tag.
Yep.
Dude gets in, rolls up Bugsy for a win, and that's it.
Yeah, a roll-up. And the heel team wins
Yeah.
in the very first fucking matchup of your pay-per-view. Your first pay-per-view ever. Heel team
Right.
wins with a roll-up.
Yeah, weird finish.
Riveting stuff.
But it was a fine. The match wasn't bad. I didn't dislike the match, and the crowd liked it a lot. They really liked Bugsy and Rufus.
Well, you have to look at the
That
difference
humorous demeanor. Yeah.
between the crowd then
Yeah.
versus like a crowd now.
Well, yeah, of course.
Way different. Like we've talked about that too. Like crowds back then, this shit was real.
Yeah.
You were 100% invested, heart, soul, everything. Like, there was nothing quote unquote fake about it, right?
Yeah.
This was really happening. Now
Yes.
fans would be like, fuck this match. And I hate to say it, that's kind of how I was, but like back then, the crowd was like, fucking, we love Bugsy and Rufus. This shit's great.
Right. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to watch this match again, later on. I'm never watching this match again. But for what
I'm
it
gonna make it a
was
point
in
not to.
1983, for what it was in 1983, it was a fine match.
It was
You know what I
fine
mean?
opener. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, I would give it like a 3.5 stars or some shit just because, for its, the standards of the day and for what it was fine.
I agree.
Yeah. So after the match, we go to Gordon Solie and Bob Caudle, and they're in front of a Starrcade sign, and they're standing. And it's like immediately cuts them. Are they calling the show standing from a standing position?
Possibly.
It looks like it.
Isn't that weird?
Just in front of one of those threefold boxes with
It's like a thing you would make like
decorations
a
for
A
Starrcade.
science project.
like
Yeah.
a diorama, right? Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it looks like a poster board that's got like 2 folds in it, so you can fold
Yeah.
the sides. It's the worst background I've ever seen in my life, and the kids had to have made it.
Yeah,
who
they did
were
a
in
horrible
elementary
job.
school at this point.
Yeah, not in 3rd grade yet. Or 2nd.
Yeah, or they would have been like kindergarten. Yeah, you can see where the 2 pieces. It's plywood. You can see where the 2 pieces of plywood connect, and that's very easy to cover up. All you do is you put fucking tape at that seam, and then you paint over it.
Nobody
It's
has
easy.
time for that. Come on.
That's the way they build sets in TV. It's also the way you do sheetrock in your house. You put tape over where the pieces of sheetrock connect.
Kindergartners don't know
Really-
any of that, dude. Come on now.
I guess not. That's why I thought it was kindergartners. And then the one side is offset by like 40 degrees to balance it. Like they couldn't have braced it from behind with something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was just really sorry. And like the lower part is blue, the top part is gold, and like the line is totally uneven. You can see they didn't tape it. It looks like someone held a piece of cardboard up there and like, okay, all right, spray the gold now. It was garbage.
So like, you think this is bad? Wait until the late '80s pay-per-views with the stage setups.
Yeah,
You
right.
just wait.
Yeah. It's only gonna get worse.
It's only going to get worse
It's a
or
new
better.
era of professional wrestling
Yeah. Then we get
and set
to
designs and engineering.
Then we get to 16-year-old Tony Schiavone, who might have been part of building that. And he's in the dressing room with Charlie Brown, who's wandering around like he's lost. And I don't even really know what the point of this is.
Wait, did you just say that Charlie Brown was wandering around?
Yeah, he's wandering around.
He's from out of town.
That's all.
Yeah, he's from out of town.
We don't want to talk anymore about him, but we're going to have
Yeah,
to.
that's enough Charlie Brown.
But we're going to have to.
Yeah, we're gonna...
Son of a bitch.
Next match is another tag team match. Johnny Weaver and Scott McGee versus Kevin Sullivan and Mark Lewin with Gary Hart.
I was like, Eddie's going to love this.
Caudle misnamed him Kevin Hart, who would have only been 4 years old at this time.
I didn't catch that. That's great.
Yeah. But he would have already had 15 stand-up specials and 3 movies by this point.
I was like,
you know
oh, good.
when-
Kevin Sullivan, Eddie's favorite.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, my favorite midget wrestler.
Oh! Don't say midget.
No, that's true. I like Haiti Kid way more.
I like Little Mr. T.
Do either of you know when Johnny Weaver started wrestling?
I'm going to guess sometime in the 40s.
Not quite.
1840s?
1840s.
Well, that's what I meant.
He peaked during the Civil War. No, he started wrestling in 1957. The same year Jericho started. But so that's how, like talk about having a veteran on the fucking show.
Wow.
When I saw Johnny Weaver, I had no idea he was. I knew about
veteran
Johnny
of
Weaver.
wrestling or veteran of a world war?
Yeah, veteran of World War One.
Well
I had
done.
no idea he was wrestling this late. You know what I mean? I knew about him. I knew he was a big deal in the 60s and like the 70s, but I had no idea he wrestled into the early 80s.
It was probably a tail end, right?
Well, it had to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
he would have been in his 50s,
Maybe another year or two left at this point. Like,
Yeah, we did. We watched some pay-per-view where he showed up as like a guest ref or some shit or a judge or something.
Yes. I would be
Yeah, some
interested to
other
go to
WC.
like Starrcade 84, which I haven't watched
Yeah.
that in a really, really long time. And just to see if he's on that card.
I doubt it. I'd
Because
be
at this
surprised,
point,
but-
WCW or NWA was only doing one pay-per-view a year.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't switch to two, I don't think, until 86 with the
Okay.
Great American Bash. So
Okay.
I'd be interested to see if Weaver was even in the federation or the promotion a year later. But yeah, this
Yeah.
definitely had to be the tail end, dude. Or the
Oh,
end.
absolutely. Well, this would be 20. What would that be? 26 years.
Yeah, 26 years, yeah.
Yeah. Back-to-back tag matches.
Right.
Start the show.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, they're fitting a lot of people into this show.
Yeah, and then Bob Caudle says many people have accused Sullivan of being a druid, and I wouldn't be surprised if he were. Sullivan definitely played D&D.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because nobody's ever heard of a druid who doesn't play D&D. Then Gordon Solie, for some reason, starts talking about Carlos Colon and Abdullah the Butcher, mentions that that match has been banned in Puerto Rico. I guess that just means those two can't wrestle each other in Puerto Rico.
Well, I was excited we were getting that match.
Yeah, me too. I was actually looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm like, there's going to be blood. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah. The match was what it was. I liked it as much as anything else I've ever seen from Kevin Sullivan, I guess.
Which is to
know?
say,
Not a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, he was a good heel, to be fair. He distracted the referee, a good amount, which was cool. He did his job. He was, I guess he was good at what he does. I just don't like his ass,
Yeah. Yeah, you've never
It's
been
like
a
Ronnie
fan.
Garvin. Yeah, like Ronnie Garvin. Like other than completely lacking in charisma, I can't really say he's bad. I just don't like him.
Did you notice the bit where Weaver went to do a bulldog and somehow Kevin Sullivan landed on his back?
No, I didn't notice that, but I did. No, I didn't catch that at all. But I liked the bulldog because you don't. That's one of those great old school moves you don't see anymore.
Yes.
I always loved the bulldog, but
Like that was an
I
80s
didn't catch it at all.
finisher. It wouldn't fly today. But yeah, somehow Weaver went from a bulldog on Sullivan to Sullivan taking the move on his back.
That's ridiculous.
It was completely ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he just didn't want to take a face first bump or was just like, fuck this guy. He's at the tail end of his career anyway. Fuck him.
Yeah, he didn't want to fuck his makeup up.
Yeah. Right.
During one of the pinfalls, Lewin, outside the ropes, just pulls Johnny Weaver's head up to break up the count.
Yeah, that
Like
was
he
kind of
just
cool.
reaches into the ring.
Yeah. It was. I mean, the match was, it's like the last match. It was what it was. There was nothing wrong with it. There was nothing really that stood out about it as being good. They kind of killed Johnny Weaver on. Actually, this might have been Johnny Weaver's last match because they kind of killed his ass on the finish. Kevin Sullivan was holding his arm, and Lewin came off the top rope with a knee to his arm while the referee was trying to keep McGee out.
Yeah.
They pinned him for like a 3 count before the referee turned around and got a 3.
And made the 3.
So they got a
yeah.
6 count. They got a 6 count on the guy by dropping a knee on his arm.
Right. Right.
So what the fuck kind of finish is that?
Well, to be fair, maybe they broke his arm so he couldn't,
Yes.
do
You
anything
gotta
with
think
it.
it's that acupuncture
like,
mentality. Like, you trigger something here and it does something to your hip, or I don't know.
Or your brain.
Or, yeah, it
you know
shut
what I
off
mean?
his brain to be like, kick
Yeah, he wasn't
out.
even moving.
Yeah.
It was like, you know what I mean? It was like they hit him with a chair or something. Like he went totally prone from a knee to the arm.
Yeah, knee to the arm. He was down for like a 7 or 8 count.
Yeah, right. Like even Bundy doesn't get a 7 or 8 count.
Right,
All right,
exactly.
so 6, 7, or 8 count. The camera angle clearly shows the referee counting 3, and then Solie says that it's a 2 count.
I wonder why Sully said that.
We got to keep
I
him
wonder
away
why
from
Sully's
Flair.
off his game.
Not Sully's finest moments.
Yeah, the biggest show they've ever done, the first pay-per-view of all time, and Sully's drunk.
Yeah.
Gordon Solie ruled.
Yeah. To be fair, we are Gordon Solie.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, we ripped off Gordon Solie's gimmick.
Right. Dude, the best part
He was
is
the
after the match, Kevin Sullivan becomes Captain Stabbin.
Captain
What?
Stab. Oh,
Just
he stabs.
The
Yeah.
Pull. So Gary Hart pulls a knife. Is it a plastic knife or a knife or a fork
Prison
out of his
shank.
sock?
Yeah, I think it's like a switchblade or something.
Yeah.
Switchblade, shiv.
It could have been a razor blade. Gary Hart used to carry a razor blade inside his jacket.
I mean,
Like to defend himself if the fans fucking got a little handsy with him.
There you go.
Because that was, remember the story I told you that I heard from Corny about he fucking cut up Link?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
because
right.
Link said something about, does Carrie Von Erich's wife, does the carpet match the drapes? And Gary Hart was like, he took him aside and was like, Link, you can't say shit like that, man. You're going to get yourself fired. They're going to make me fire you and I'm going to do it.
Yep.
And Link came into his office the next day and like cheap shotted him because for some reason that upset Link. And Gary Hart pulled that blade out and cut Link's stomach all open.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, and then I think that's when Link went to WWE.
Yeah, then he jumped ship. Yep, that was it.
Yeah, he was like, all right, fuck it then.
Yep.
You don't want me talking about fucking Bush? I'm fucking going to work up north.
So they went full
that might have been when
OJ post match and started cutting people.
damn, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so they shanked fucking Angelo Mosca. Mosca gets in because the heels attack the faces. Mosca
Yep.
gets in, and they fucking cut his arm up.
Yeah, he's just trying to help, and they fucking just gash up his arm. It's fucking stabbing party.
Yeah, right. It was yeah, the whole thing went fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're like, wait, why? What? This is Johnny fucking Weaver. Why are you cutting him up? Who cares?
Yeah, right.
I need more backstory here. What's the deal?
Yeah, we got to get Kevin Sullivan over, have him kill Johnny Weaver and
Yeah.
stab Angelo Mosca.
Slicing everybody up.
Did you ever see that clip of Angelo Mosca getting in that fight
No.
with that dude? So he played in the CFL, right? He was a football player before he was a wrestler.
Okay.
And they did some kind of like alumni dinner, and there was a guy, I forget what team he played for. It was a guy called Joe Cap. And
Joe
they
Cap
had
from
heat.
Cal?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Either way.
He would have played like in the fucking 50s or 60s. So, I don't know.
Looking it up.
There was some kind of alumni dinner or something like that. And they're both on stage. And at this point, Mosca walked with a cane. And
what
Joe
you're talking
Cap was
about.
like, he was like, well, I'm going to apologize. I'm here to apologize. And he had flowers, which is sort of, I think he's being a smartass because who apologizes to a dude with flowers?
Never. You do it with fucking booze.
With a beer. Yeah, you show up with a beer.
Yep.
Yeah. And Mosca swatted the flowers away. And Joe Cap was like, what the fuck? And then Mosca swung his cane at him, knocked fucking Cap's glasses off his face. Like, he hit him in the
shit.
face with his cane. And then Joe Cap fucking decked his ass, dropped him. And then there's a scrum up on the stage, and then they sort of sorted it out. But fucking Angelo Mosca is like as badass as he looks. He got his ass dropped by Joe Cap. It probably would have been 20 years after this.
Damn.
Yeah, then he went on Dr. Phil and talked about it because he had a book to promote.
Mosca did? Or Joe
Yeah,
Cap?
he wrote a book. Mosca, he wrote a book, and
No
then
shit.
he went on Dr. Phil to promote it. And Dr. Phil's like, "Whoa, did you really need to hit him with your cane?" You know?
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Mosca's a pretty interesting dude.
Damn.
Yeah, it's on YouTube if you guys want to see it. There you go. That's
there
it.
it is.
I think I remember this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so anybody who wants to see that, look up Angelo Mosca, Joe Cap. It's fucking awesome.
What the actual?
And that's it for that match.
Maybe
So
that
it
needs to be our
looks
next
like-
watch along.
19. Played
We'll watch
for.
along well, I actually have a idea for a watch along that would be pretty cool. The Dr. Phil segment would actually be a better part of it.
Okay.
But yeah.
I
We'll
need
watch
you
and
to
discuss
look
this later.
inside yourself.
Spoiler, David Schultz would be involved.
Oh,
And it's not to do with John Stossel.
okay.
So, all right, moving on.
Drunk Fact played for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Ottawa Rough Riders, must have been before Saskatchewan, and the Montreal Alouettes.
Okay.
What's an alouette? Never mind.
Isn't it an owl? I don't know.
An owl?
I mean, that's what their current mascot is.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know that?
They're also the reigning champs. Yeah.
You also know that? All right. Well, that's fucking sports.
That's sports, eh? Yep.
And then we have Schiavone in the back with Harley and Jack Briscoe. Jack Briscoe looks like he drove to the show on a combine harvester. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
And Harley knows Flair's weakness,
Oh, that's right.
and he's
Yeah,
going to
Harley
target
knows.
them.
Yes. Yeah.
And we
I know
did
what
see
it-
Flair
he-
earlier in the locker room.
What's he gonna do? Bring pussy to the ring?
Wow. Gets the count out win.
He's gonna bring a train.
Nice.
Yeah, he's gonna bring a flight attendant.
Next match is finally a one-on-one match.
I'm
It's
feeling that
Carlos
Terramana,
Colon.
dude.
Carlos Colon versus Abdullah the Butcher. At this point, Carlito would be 4 years old.
So, to the casual fan watching this match, you're like, who cares? But 2 years after this match, Remco, who produced AWA wrestling figures, they actually made a 2-pack of Carlos Colon and Abdullah the Butcher. So this was a big enough deal. Huh?
Did it come with a bottle of ketchup?
It should have come with a fork or a shiv or something. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, in Abdullah's trunks or tights.
Right.
Can you even call them tights? Pants.
No,
Pants.
they're like hammer pants.
But they had wrestling figures produced of this particular feud in the mid 80s. So this was apparently a huge deal.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a big, big deal.
It absolutely was. Yeah, I mean, mostly in Puerto Rico, of course. But
Right,
and
right.
Abdullah was a huge fucking star. Like people forget, or I shouldn't say they forget, but I don't think a lot of people are aware of how big of a draw Abdullah was.
He was.
Especially
Yes.
especially up in Detroit with the Sheik. Like those fucking matches were they had like a 20-year feud and shit
Right.
up there. So, but yeah, he probably had a 20-year feud with Carlos Colon in Puerto Rico. It was like legendary. It was a huge thing with these two.
Yeah, always made money. It always drew a crowd. Yeah, they were a big, big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but unfortunately, Abdullah was broke and couldn't pay that guy that he gave hepatitis to. Bob Caudle called Carlos Salone earlier in the show, but now he's calling him Carlos Scolone. He thinks he's Italian.
Dude, he's talking in cursive. That's what happens when you're drunk. He's talking
He's
in
trying.
cursive.
He's talking in Solie.
And if you were in the show, he'd be called Carlos Scialone.
Yeah. Like this.
Scalone. I want to say hi to our listener in Italy.
And the one dude in India who's maybe vacationing in Italy.
Yeah. Abdullah fucks Carlos Colon up immediately, which is not surprising at all. But then Carlos pulls the thing out of Abdullah's pants and fucks him up, which you never really get a good look at what it is.
They just keep calling it a foreign object.
Yeah, you've seen a fork over the years. In this match, you can't really see it. To be totally honest, I'm not sure you ever see it at all. There might not even be anything there.
You don't. They just always said it was a fork that Abdullah used.
But what I'm saying is, like, he might not have even had anything. You know how Lawler would reach in his trunks and pull something out?
And it just looked like he was holding something. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't actually have anything.
Right.
This might have been a situation like that where he didn't even have a weapon because you never actually see it.
Good point.
Best chance, maybe a plastic knife. Or, like, from maybe the one or two angles I saw, but that could be wrong.
Okay, if you saw something, then maybe that's what it was, but I never saw it. So Abdullah's bleeding immediately. This is like 2 minutes in the match. Abdullah's covered in blood.
Did you think Carlos Colon was wearing white because he was going to get color and wearing white would make that really pop?
Didn't even think about that, but that makes sense.
I did, and it didn't happen.
It never got on the trunks.
No, Colon, like, never bled.
I thought he did bleed.
Let me double check
I don't
my
think
notes.
he did.
No, just
Maybe-
Abdullah.
Okay.
He never
okay.
got color, but I'm like, why else would he wear white? Like, normally he would wear, like, red or orange. But, like, in this match, he wore white, and I'm like, dude, he's definitely going to bleed. He never bled.
That's where your war wounds of your enemy is on there. He also started biting him.
Well, and this was like a
Yeah, he starts
nonsense.
biting him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this was-
Abdullah's bleeding and Carlos Colon's biting him like a vampire, dude. Like, he's getting his blood in his mouth.
Yeah, and this was like
This
a
is the early days of
non-sanctioned
AIDS.
match, right? And like, so both guys are gonna be. It's gonna be like a blood war, and like they're gonna tear it up. Cologne never even bled.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he did. I guess I remembered it wrong. Abdullah, at one point, Abdullah hits the ropes and he looks like the Kool-Aid man. like just coming off of that shit, like he's covered, his face is red, his tights or his pants are red. He's a big fat fucking, he looks like a big jug, like a big pitcher.
Hey! He should have been the Shockmaster.
Oh my God.
Hey, kids! Kool-Aid!
Carlos pins him at one point. Abdullah kicks out and tosses Carlos onto the referee.
Yeah.
And then and he's on the referee. Abdullah gets up and goes for an elbow drop on Carlos, misses him and lands on the referee.
Yeah.
And then Hugo Savinovich eventually runs in and he hits Carlos with something, and the referee gets up and counts the pin. Abdullah wins, and that was the end of the match. And another heel win.
Another heel win. And Hugo Savinovich of WWF fame.
Who was also married to Wendy Richter at one point.
Hugo was? No shit.
Hugo was married to Wendy Richter, yeah.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like,
Wow.
just like so random.
That
You'd
is
never
totally
think that,
random.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had no
I think
idea.
Hugo was from Ecuador, too. Drunk fact.
Okay.
Hugo?
And then in the back, Angelo Mosca is very upset, tending to his wound on his arm, and he thinks Ric Flair will win. Then they interview two chicks at ringside.
Oh,
and
wait.
one says
You're
that
leaving an important part out.
Oh, sorry.
Scott McGee, who was in that tag match, was sitting next to him and is dying. Like, literally, look at that man. He is losing blood. He looks just like Adam. He's dying. And they're still interviewing Angelo Mosca, asking him what he thinks about the Ric Flair match upcoming.
Someone bring him a
turning
towel.
white.
Get that man a towel, or at the very least an ambulance, because he's clearly dying from blood loss. Dude, I'm watching that, I'm fucking dying laughing. I'm like,
And why is nobody helping him?
yeah. He has no friends. Nobody gives a fuck. He's fucking sitting there dying in the locker room.
He's probably like, Shivani, get me a towel. I gotta do this interview. It's for my volunteer project.
Like, off camera, Flair's running around with his dick out, helicoptering it at people, and here's poor Scott McGee dying, laying next to Angelo Mosca. Yeah. What a way to go. I know if I had to go.
You want to go that way with Flair helicoptering his dick
If I had one wish.
with Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, with baby Justin
Schiavone in the
Bieber
room.
there.
Oh my God.
Good stuff.
Now we throw to Barbara Cleary.
Barbara, who is she is at ringside interviewing a fan who says her favorite wrestler is Charlie Brown.
I have that in my notes, and I was like, Eddie's going to lose his shit at this point.
Yeah, she found her. She found the person whose favorite wrestler is Charlie
The
Brown.
one person in the arena that was like, that's my favorite wrestler is out of town Charlie Brown.
Yep, not Ric Flair, not Ricky Steamboat,
Not
not
Harley
Jack
Race.
Briscoe. I came to see Charlie fucking Brown.
A card of legends, and I love fucking out of town Charlie Brown. Wow.
For fuck's sake.
Barbara also said that they drove in from Raleigh, South Carolina.
Well, you don't know that there's not a Raleigh, South Carolina.
Can we look that up, please?
It's
Adam,
like Springfield. There's, like that's the joke with Springfield. There's like 40 of them.
there's no Raleigh, South Carolina.
Not in South Carolina.
There might be.
There's no
You don't
way.
know that.
There's no way. I'm going to guess that the great Barbara just did not have a good grasp on geography.
Maybe.
I don't have a...
Maybe she had walked by Gordon earlier.
Contact drunk.
Got a whiff. I'm not seeing
No such
South
thing.
Carolina.
No
All
such
right.
thing. Yeah.
Well, are you spelling it right? Maybe it's Rollie.
Oh, come on now.
So Barbara Cleary, if you're listening to
Like
this,
Raleigh fingers. Stop it.
Like,
Stop it, you son of a bitch. That's not how you ever spell Raleigh. Stop it.
oh shit!
I can't with you tonight, dude.
It's the Terramana talking.
Yeah,
man.
I'm sure.
All right, let's get
our
to the
next
match.
match is
Before I pass out laughing.
so we got fourth match, third tag team match.
Yeah, another tag match.
Chief Wahoo McDaniel and Mark Youngblood versus Dick Slater and a castless Bob Orton.
Yeah, the injury hadn't happened yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Do you know how old Randy Orton is by this point?
Oh, shit.
So this
Okay,
is
he's younger
41
than
years
me.
old, right?
He's probably, I want to say 1.
I was going to guess 1 or 2.
He's 3.
No shit.
Oh, fuck, he's that old? He's that old? Wow. So he's going to be 44 this year.
Looks like it.
Right? He would have been born in 1980.
I calculated it, but
late 81.
Born
Something-
1980.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 years old. Okay.
Yeah, wow. Oh, same as Carissa.
Oh,
What's his astrological sign?
Viper? I don't know.
Well done, Adam.
Very good. Very
king
good.
of
Don't
improv,
even don't
folks.
even look it up. Don't look it up. Just leave it there.
Yep.
Leave it like that.
We don't need to know.
There's a fancy ColecoVision graphic for the for this match, and that's the first time on the show there's been a graphic for the match. Like they developed this technology in the first hour of the show.
We're like, hey guys, check
or
it out.
mid-show.
Look what I figured out 2 minutes ago. Let's
Yeah,
put
look
it
what
in
I
this
could do.
4th match.
Yeah, just in time for Wahoo.
Look
And
how
he's
I can
looking
spell
to the
Yahoo
side
on
like-
the screen.
Like partners
shockingly-
looking at the camera. Wahoo's like,
Now I don't know if you guys are going to believe this, but Mark Youngblood, the Indian, is actually Italian.
I would
Imagine
believe
that. An Italian pretending to be Indian. Yeah. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is. The announcer's
didn't he
mic
used to be
goes out.
Jamaican?
Yeah. They announced Dusty for some reason, and the fucking announcer's microphone goes out.
After
So,
after the bell rings.
Yeah.
after the bell rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they announced, hey, by the way, forget this match that's going on. Dusty Rhodes is here, but you can't hear him.
Yeah. Audio difficulty during a Dusty promo, a very impassioned promo, and he has
Right,
like audio cutting in and out. It's awful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gordon Solie puts over the overhead camera, which is like a terrible fucking shot. It's like the worst shot you can use in wrestling because you can't see the height of a move or anything, and it's far away. It's a bad shot, but Gordon Solie loves it.
He loved. Did you notice who the referee in this match was?
It was
Tommy Young.
Tommy Young.
And Dusty Rhodes was at ringside.
Yeah, Dusty Rhodes.
Immediately, you know there's going to be shenanigans. It's either going to be a ref bump or a Dusty finish. One
didn't
or the
even think
other.
about that.
You're expecting some bullshit to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, my spidey senses were tingling during this match. Like, there's going to be some bullshit, dude.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking. The Slater and Orton are a cool team. They do a lot of cool moves together. Slater at one point holds Youngblood in a front face lock, and Orton hits him with a high knee in the high knee. And then Youngblood just fucking kicking both the heels' asses. They don't know what the fuck to do. And they finally toss him out of the ring, and this is the first time a match has gone outside all night.
Yep.
Right? Which, imagine that. You don't immediately go outside. I mean, I guess you don't have to go outside in the matches before this because there were no commercial breaks.
Yeah, and surprisingly, no dives so far in this.
No
pay-per-view.
dives. Zero dives. at
Zero
this point.
dives.
Yeah. Somebody, I forget who took a backbreaker onto the barricade. And I just wrote, God damn. Like, fucking take a backbreaker on the barricade. But I forget who it was.
Was this also an example of like, because 80s was all about characters, right? Was this almost Cowboys versus Indians?
Oh, fuck,
Never
dude.
thought of that.
I didn't even get that.
Damn.
This absolutely was, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the gist I got from this match is because
But
it was
the-
all about characters.
Yeah, but the Indians were the baby faces.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cowboys were the bad guys.
Right, that's out of the ordinary.
It was very progressive for the NWA in the early 80s.
Yeah, for the 80s.
Yeah, let's flip the script a little bit.
Wahoo gets a hot tag. and
Crowd
it was a
loved
really
that
good hot
shit.
The crowd went. This is probably the biggest pop of the night.
It was so
They
far,
loved-
yes, and I have that in my notes too. Biggest pop of the
They
night.
fucking loved Wahoo.
Yes, dude.
I see Wahoo and I'm like,
I know.
what? I don't.
I know, but if
never
you
really got
watched
it.
the NWA back in the early,
Yeah.
mid, late 80s, like the fucking crowd loved Wahoo McDaniel, dude.
He was over, brother.
They loved him. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. He pins Dick Slater in the corner, and then he just lets him tag out, and he gets double teamed. Like, well, fuck, I didn't get the 2 count. I guess I'll give you guys a shot at winning.
Yeah. A tag team master he is not. or specialist.
Yeah. Then they get 3 back-to-back 2 counts on him. And I think, I don't think Wahoo was even getting his shoulder up. I think the referee was just not counting the 3. I think he was blown up. Mm-hmm. Right? Did you see that?
Yep.
They were like, yeah, give the old man a break.
Yeah. Yep.
Pin him 3 times. They could have tossed him out of the ring.
Yeah, give him a breather, but nope.
Yeah. Then the finish kind of falls apart. Orton gets shot into the ropes, but he holds on to the ropes that he's being shot from. So he goes into one rope, and he's going to go across the ring. He holds on to that rope. I think because Dick Slater was out of position, because then Slater ends up tripping to avoid a drop kick. It got all weird. They end up putting Youngblood on the top. Slater gets out of the ring, and then Bob hits a superplex. Wahoo breaks it up right at 3. So it was a 3 count. Wahoo didn't successfully break up the pin.
Right.
I don't know if his timing was off. I don't know if his timing was off or it was to give the faces an out, but it was a very flat finish. The finish was bad.
Outside of jobbers, I never saw anybody take the superplex as the finish. Outside of jobbers.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, I think it was more to protect the faces.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, probably. Then they do the funniest thing ever. Again, the heels attack the faces after the match because that's what we do on the show.
Yeah.
Right? But it's the greatest thing ever. Orton holds Wahoo's arm under the bottom rope off of the apron. Dick Slater goes to the top rope like he's going to jump off the top rope and hit it. He climbs down and just doesn't do anything. And I was like, oh, is that like doing a heel move where you're going to do something cool, but you don't do it? But it wouldn't have really made sense anyway because you're going to break an old man's arm.
Yeah.
But then Orton goes up and does it. Like Slater got to the top rope and was afraid to jump off of it.
He didn't want to do it. Yeah.
He got up there. He's like, fuck this, Bob, get up here.
My payday isn't that good. Fuck this shit.
Yeah. He was like, I don't know, man. I'm 8 feet tall, 8 feet high. I don't think I want to do this.
I don't want to end up in a cast.
Wasn't that funny?
Yeah. That was so weird, dude. Yeah. He was like, nah, you do it.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. I love it.
I was thinking of when that NXT takeover, Kevin Owens ready to do a cannonball on Finn, then just walks over and slaps him instead.
Another heel win, too.
Another heel win, so that's 3 out of 4. Is it the 4th match?
All the heels have won so far.
It's 4 out of 4, yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucking pay-per-view,
this is a fucking great way to start your first pay-per-view ever.
Yeah, and Crockett was always a heel territory, right? Like the heel was always the champ.
Correct.
For the most part, you know.
Correct.
WWE was always a babyface territory. Was a heel. It was the babyface champion from the beginning.
You had the heels chasing all the time. Yeah, but NWA was the exact opposite of that.
They were the exact opposite, but to have heels win every match, that's crazy.
Every match of your first ever pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking bizarre, dude. And then a lot of post-match shenanigans with them trying to injure the faces. It's just, man, what the fuck? Like at least give the good guys a win.
Yeah, they don't only win, they fucking beat the shit out of the faces after.
Exactly, yeah.
Stab fucking Mosca. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 2 of the 4 matches so far have involved shankings. Like, fuck, man.
Yeah, what a pay-per-view.
The faces lose and get stabbed.
This is the original Extreme Rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. Let's see. Go to Schiavone with Ric Flair, Jay Youngblood, and Ricky Steamboat. They're just having a very emotional moment backstage.
Yeah, Flair doesn't have
Jay
his dick
Youngblood
out.
Youngblood is giving the most charismatic interview anyone's ever seen. It's riveting stuff.
Charisma vacuum.
Charisma vacuum.
I think him and Gordon Solie were sharing the same bottle backstage. He didn't have it together, dude.
No,
not at all.
He looked awkward and uncomfortable and out of place. You know?
Yeah. And of course, I don't think he was really drinking, dude. I think honestly, just young kid.
Yeah,
it's a big moment, and he couldn't measure up. He couldn't live up to it. And Steamboat really kind of cleaned it up for him. He really kind of saved him. Yeah.
Yeah. You can always count on Steamboat.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Then we throw to Barbara Cleary interviewing Dusty Rhodes, but
with a mic that doesn't work.
Mic doesn't work. Audio cuts out. So guess
and
what?
And Gordon Solie follows it up with Dusty Rhodes said it all.
I mean, the audio is
I guess he did, but we heard none of it.
We didn't hear a thing, Gordon.
Audio is so bad that Gordon Solie is doing commentary on an interview segment.
Yeah. He's talking over Dusty's interview. And it's great because normally, like, now they would cut away from it, but they must not have had a stage manager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there was nobody telling them, cut away, stop.
Stage manager was
Right.
probably getting Solie a refill. I don't know.
Shit.
All right, moving on.
Next match is a mask versus title match for the NWA Television Championship. From out of town, Charlie Brown versus the champion, the Great Kabuki, with Gary Hart.
They did some shit to each other. Charlie Brown danced around, pretended he wasn't Jimmy Valiant, won with a people's elbow, and that was it.
Did you realize that Great Kabuki was in the WWF in 1993?
As who?
Great Kabuki. He was one of the ones that was in the ring to put Undertaker into the casket when he had that title match with Yokozuna. Oh, I'm sorry, that was 94. That was 94.
That was the only thing he ever did?
He was in the WWF. Well, he was also in World Class later in the 80s.
Yeah. I've seen matches of him there.
But was in the WWF for that casket match with Taker and Yoko. Remember all the heels crashed the ring?
Yeah.
Great Kabuki was one of those guys.
Did he do anything else, or was that it?
As far as I know, in the WWF, that was it.
Did they call him Great Kabuki?
Yes. His name was the Great Kabuki. I had completely forgotten he was there. So I was going back and watching a bunch of old Royal Rumbles just for the fuck of it because we're in Rumble season. And I was like, oh my God, like I just saw him in Starrcade 83. Same fucking guy.
Wow. I haven't seen that show in years.
Of course, yeah, neither had I. So I went back and watched. It was Royal Rumble 94. And yeah, he was one of the heels in the ring that put Undertaker into the casket.
Do you like Kabuki?
No, fuck no.
I don't like Kabuki.
No, dude, no.
Yeah, Kabuki kind of sucks. He's a big deal because he had the face paint and the fucking mask when he came to the ring and he did the mist. But his matches sucked.
No, if I want that, I'll watch Muda. I'll watch the Great Muda.
Yeah, Muda was better.
I was
way better,
This was
dude.
originally Muda.
This match was garbage. And you know what? I just watched a couple of his matches because the Von Erichs movie just came out last month. Was it last? Yeah,
It was
the
in
end
December.
of last year.
Yeah, right before Christmas.
Yeah. And so I was watching, I did like not a world-class marathon, but I watched quite a bit of world-class, like back to, just put on an episode and let it play,
Yep.
And I watched quite a few, and there were a few Kabuki matches, and every match he just does that stupid fucking Vulcan death grip the whole time.
There's not much to him, dude.
Yeah, Kabuki sucks, dude.
Yeah, I'll sing Nostalgia and Golden Era all day. Kabuki's not one of those guys for me at all. Not even close.
Yeah.
Not
I
even
like
close.
Link better.
So I was almost happy that Out of Town Charlie Brown won.
I was too. I was like, Kabuki's the one. Charlie Brown was kind of entertaining, to be honest.
He was. He was.
With the shucking and jiving and everything. And Kabuki was just like boring.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't understand why he was a big fucking deal for like a decade, and I don't get it.
Yeah. You're like, wait, why? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What am I missing?
But the best part of this match is after it's over, Gordon Solie says he's not sure if the pin was before the time was up.
Yeah.
And then they interview some local radio dude, and during this interview, you can hear the crowd booing. So I'm like, oh, I guess the time must have been up. But I'm like, man, that didn't feel like 15 minutes.
Which now you had your first face win. Now all of a sudden you don't. So the heels are ruling the night.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they never got back to it. They never announced who won that match. It was just Gordon Solie saying, "Well, I'm not sure if fucking Charlie Brown from out of town won that match."
You'd almost have to.
You
tune
never
in
hear the
following
official
Saturday.
result. Charlie Brown won that match, and it was only 10 minutes and 35 seconds or something like that. It was
Yeah.
way under 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Solie is fucking shit-faced at this point. He's like, I don't know, but I don't know. I think that match was over before that shit happened. Like, it wasn't even close to over. It was 5 minutes left on the clock.
What do you think Solie's drinking?
Scotch, because he's classy. When you wear a suit,
yes.
and when you wear a suit and glasses, you drink scotch.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm wearing glasses because now I wear glasses. I'm drinking 805. If I were to put my suit on, I would get the scotch out.
I like to think that he was drinking espresso martinis, but those weren't a thing in '83.
No, lemon drops were. He was drinking lemon drops.
Right. But we know Flair's not drinking lemon drops, so come on now.
No. Adrian Adonis probably was, though.
Not in '83. In 86, yes.
Not in 83, no, 86.
In
he was.
86, yeah. Drinking Cosmos with a pinky up.
So Shivani's in the back. We still don't know how the match ended, and then he tosses the Barbara out in the Coliseum, which he calls it, which is not a Coliseum.
Take two of
Who is
that
not in the
interview.
Coliseum. Huh?
Take two of that interview with Dusty.
Take two of that interview, yeah. So they tossed a Barbara in the Coliseum, who is not in the Coliseum, but she is with Dusty. And yes, it's take two of the promo, and Dusty declares that Harley Race has staminas.
Plural.
Or he has at least two of them.
At least. Maybe 7.
Who knows?
We don't know.
Yeah. And let's get to the next match.
Next match is a non-title, but it is a dog collar match between Roddy Piper and Greg Valentine.
Vince couldn't wait to pluck these guys.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, he was
I mean,
watching this match fucking rubbing his hands together. Like that meme of the dude hiding behind the tree looking out. Like, Like, oh,
Well-
Vince was ready.
Well, and who wouldn't want Valentine?
Right, yeah.
The guy with so much charisma, he needed a shin guard.
Say what you will. That guy had a
Yeah.
fucking long career.
Oh, he had a hell of a career. Yeah, he made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Valentine was a big star.
Oh,
no, I joke
big
about
time.
him because he's one of those guys. But I mean, he was a mid Carter for life. But you know what he was? He was Dolph Ziggler.
He was money.
You know,
He was
money.
guaranteed money. He could work with anybody on the card at the top, at the middle, at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom, he could get over and make himself look good versus a jobber. He could put over your mid card, whoever the new guy was, and he could work with the top of the card because he was still a threat to win a title. He was that
he's one of
piece
those-
of leather that
he's
you
one of
could
those-
beat on.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where he's a perfect example of if you can work, you can get a job. You know what I mean?
100% absolutely.
You know, yeah, like if you can do what needs to be done in the ring, you're gonna have a job, and you're gonna make money. He was that guy. He was never gonna be a top star any fucking where,
Yep.
except like in his mom's fucking backyard.
Yeah, in Brutus
So-
Beefcake's fucking promotion.
Yeah,
Yeah, Greg Valentine would be the champion.
right. But yeah, he was, and I mean, he was Bob Holly. You know, he's Bob Holly. He was Dolph Ziggler. He was that kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly. And he was always money, and he made a very long career of being a mid-card talent. But, like, honestly, you look back on him and you're like, yeah, that dude's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So the background of this was that Valentine had busted Piper's ear up before,
Right.
right? So Piper comes in with a previous ear injury, and it's a dog collar match. So they both got a big fucking dog collar around their neck.
Start
And they're
with tug of
tethered to
war
each other
with their
chains.
necks.
Yeah, and they start with the tug of war with their necks, which was really cool. And they're not using their hands on it at all. And it starts out really slow, and I really like the beginning of it because they both seem like they don't know how to approach this match, which you wouldn't.
I
You know
wonder
what
if
mean?
they had a warm-up for this, right? Because I think Razor and HBK, or at least HBK did, had a warm-up before the ladder match at WrestleMania 10.
It might have been HBK and Brett, actually.
I think it was. But I'm wondering
Yeah.
if Piper and Valentine, or any combination thereof with, like, another mid-card talent, if they had any warm-ups with a dog collar match before
Very
this.
possible.
Yeah,
that's-
because like you said, they look very uneasy at the beginning. Like, how do we kind of do this?
They do a sparring session with wearing the dog collar.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't. But there had to
No,
be
just
some
a
sort
house
of
show.
warm-up.
They could have done it on a couple house shows. Yeah,
Right.
That's totally possible. Yeah, you could be right. Yeah, try out different things and see how they work.
Right, exactly.
Piper kind of it's sort of nobody's in control until Piper fucking like crotches Valentine's dick with the chain from behind. Like he's behind him and pulls it up between his fucking legs.
Right.
Which was cool. And then we get the famous chain in the mouth and around
Wrapping
eyes.
his face.
Yeah, which is like you can't fake that. A chain is a chain. If it's wrapped around your face, even if you're not holding it that tight, it's gonna fucking be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
Metal on your lips does not feel good when it's being pulled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Piper wraps the chain around the post and he pulls Valentine to the corner. Which why he didn't just strangle him, I don't know, but he could have just been like, I'm going to kill you now,
Not,
you know, or at least make you pass out.
Right.
I'm not trying to say that Valentine wasn't trying. I think he could have easily turned around and lifted the chain from the corner post, But then again,
That's true.
then
That's
again,
true.
you're being choked with a dog collar, so I'll give him that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not thinking straight.
Yeah.
Right.
Then they end up outside. Piper does like the most wild, uncontrolled chair shot I've ever seen. I think maybe it slipped out of his hands, but it was like he went for it. You couldn't tell if he swung it and it slipped or if he threw it at him, but it was like you can't prepare for that chair shot. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then Hammer hits Piper in the ear with the chain. And then Piper's fucked because now he's bleeding from the ear, which like that was the famous thing about this match. Like nobody's ever, you don't see people bleed from the ear. They always bleed from the forehead, but Piper's bleeding from his fucking ear.
Right.
And it was mostly them just beating the shit out of each other. Piper's comeback was awesome. He just kind of goes crazy and he charges Valentine and just starts fucking him up. He doesn't do any moves or anything. And there's very few moves. Valentine hit a suplex at one point and they did a double down. And that was kind of it. I mean, it's a brawl, which it should be when you're tethered with a fucking chain.
Yeah.
And eventually it ends when Piper just like, Valentine's on the second rope, Piper pulls him down and he hits him with the chain like 6 fucking times and pins him.
That was it.
Which
He
was a
like
cool
wraps
finish.
up his legs or his ankles and
Yeah.
rolls him up, and that's it.
It just whacks him with it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I'm not like a big hardcore match because essentially this is a hardcore match, but this was a good fucking match.
It was. It
Yeah,
was.
this
It was
was a
like
lot
the
of
first
fun to
one where
watch.
you're like, oh fuck, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then also with that overhead shot, that ring is covered. Maybe not puddles,
Yeah.
but the stains are all over the fucking place.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought if there was a perfect guy for this match, it was Roddy Piper because of his style.
Yeah.
Like Roddy Piper was never a moves guy. He didn't really do any moves. You know, he was always a brawler, so he fit right perfectly into this match.
Totally.
And then Gordon Solie says Roddy Piper won the U.S. title, and then he says, well, no, he didn't because the U.S. title wasn't on the line.
Just kidding, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did win.
And I think I've pointed out Gordon Solie's condition enough.
But he did. But according to Solie, he
We are
did
Gordon
win
Solie.
the moral victory and the psychological victory, which drunk fact. The NWA psychological championship was never just came to be.
Ever. Unfortunately. Yep.
Just I
Not
think,
even with the Black Scorpion.
Yeah, Solie ruined it with that
Totally.
crap. But anyway,
Then after the match, when they're talking, Bob Caudle tosses to Barbara, and we go to Tony.
wow,
Have you ever seen somebody fuck ups on a pay-per-view?
Back to Tony
You know
and
what I mean?
Flair
It's like-
for like the 4th time.
Yeah, right. It's like the 4th Flair interview. It's supposed to be Barbara with who knows who.
Dude.
Probably Dusty for a 3rd time.
Flair has her cornered.
someone from
Yeah.
Rowley, South Carolina.
Yeah, then
horned
we
up
go
for
to
Flair.
yeah, then we eventually go to Barbara, who interviews some nerd.
Some radio guy. I think
Is it a radio guy? Oh, is it the same radio guy from Earth? I don't know. who the fuck's-
different radio guy, but not named Dude. that was the first radio guy. Also,
His name was Dude.
the first radio guy that stepped in. It was
All right.
Dude something. Anyways, also Solie said that as soon as Roddy Piper gets backstage, some paramedics will take a look at him. Are you sure? Because I don't know if they've attended to Scott McGee yet.
Yeah, no, at this point,
Well,
he's
he's
probably
dead.
dead.
He's-
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh.
So what are you going to tend to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, have you heard of
yeah.
Scott McGee since this? I haven't. They just rolled
Wait,
him
what
up
was
in
the
some
guy-
fucking
whoa.
sheets and threw him out.
What was that dude's name that Brett wrestled in that like lost match? Wasn't that Scott McGee?
Tim
McGee? Tom McGee.
Tom McGee. Yep.
Yeah, also known as Mega Man McGee. I saw him at a house show in Oakland as Tom McGee.
I think that's Scott's brother. He picked up wrestling when his brother Scott died. Because of
Yeah,
neglect
this is like 88,
backstage.
dude. No, this is like right then. It was like 88.
It was
He
like 5
wrestled
years
in the
after.
Mask. Well, it was 5 years after this. Oh, yeah, after Scott McGee. Right.
After
I
he
got you.
passed, yeah.
Yeah. He wrestled in a mask, and the dude sitting behind me insisted it was Kerry Von Erich.
Fuck.
But he did. I mean, with a mask, you could make that. You know, you could confuse that. It's a big fucking ripped dude with curly hair sticking out from under a mask.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That wasn't an unreasonable guess.
Okay.
But it was like Mega Man McGee versus I don't know, fucking Iron Mike Sharp, I guess.
But in
someone like that.
'88, like Kerry was still like full on world class.
Well,
So he still thought it was him.
Yeah, but I mean, you know how guys quit.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
I mean, fucking Lex Luger was on Raw and Nitro the same night.
Good point. Good point.
You know, so was Rude.
Good
Right?
point.
No, Luger wasn't on both shows the same night. Rude was. Luger was on Raw on
Like
Nitro
the night after a pay-per-view.
SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
Was it SummerSlam? Yeah,
Yeah, it was the night after SummerSlam.
Yeah, so I mean, fucking Kerry Von Erich could show up at a house show in Oakland.
All right, that's true. That's true.
All right, next match, which I kind of don't want to say much about this match.
Pretty much, they throw it back to Shivani. He's with Ric Flair and Chief Wahoo. Wahoo says that he's done everything with Rick. World title is coming back to Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
You know how old Charlotte Flair was when this aired?
She was not born yet.
Yeah, I was saying she wasn't born.
Nope. Yep, she wasn't in the nutsack yet.
She's like you.
3 years away from being born.
She wasn't baby Grady yet.
Ski, goddamn.
All right. Next match is for the NWA World Tag Team Championship. Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood versus the champions, the Briscoe brothers. Special guest referee Angelo Mosca.
With his arm taped up.
Yeah, with his arm taped up. Yeah, he's like in a t-shirt now.
Red t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's like covered in blood, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like blood is coming through the fucking tape. How is Jack Briscoe NWA champ? You know, I get how the NWA ran things back in the day, and I get that wrestlers weren't as flashy.
Yeah.
And all that, but Jack Briscoe, man.
It was a different time, dude. It was a different time.
Yeah, I guess a different time, and it was
Yeah.
well, it was a territory thing. A guy would be over in a certain area,
Right.
You know, but Jack Briscoe,
I know. What are you gonna do?
yeah,
Right?
yeah. You get Ricky and Jack feeling each other out at the beginning. Jack tags out quickly. Ricky does the arm drag, which he's famous for. Right? What is that? What's the hands thing? What are you doing, Jack?
Feeling each other out.
Oh, feeling each other up. Steamboat was the Randy Orton of the 80s.
Damn.
Right? Like everything he did was perfect. Whenever you watch a Steamboat match, he never does a move that looks weird or awkward. Like everything he does is perfect.
Okay.
I mean,
Most
part of it is the
mobile
guys
and
who were working
chiseled.
with him, right? Like he's famous for his arm drag, but the guys were taking the arm drag too.
Yeah.
And he had good guys to work with, like Macho Man and Flair and, you know, Sting.
And he could
whatever
cut
the
a
fuck.
decent promo. He was great in the ring.
Yeah, he was the Orton of the 80s. I kind of
Okay.
realized that watching this match.
Okay.
They pointed out that Jim Crockett bought the Briscoes contract out of Kansas City to get this match, and I love the territory talk. You know, I love that they're like, yeah, it's the NWA. We have this, we have that. We have the Charlotte, we have the Kansas City. I thought that was really cool.
But was that Caudle or was that Solie that said that?
It was probably Caudle, because Solie probably would have said that he bought their fucking contract out of Indonesia or some shit. You know what I mean?
Briscoes didn't wrestle there. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. Jerry gets heat on Ricky until Ricky hits some martial arts chops because he's Asian. The faces start doing the quick tag, but Ricky ends up in the heel corner getting double teamed, and he gets dropped to the top rope on his throat, what's with guys attacking Ricky Steamboat's throat?
They love it. Apparently that's a weakness.
Yeah. Then the special guest referee gets involved when Gerald ends up getting pissed about a 2 count, and he pushes Mosca, who pushes him back, and then he pushes Jack out of the ring when he tries to get involved. The finish is Steamboat Gorilla presses Jay onto Gorilla presses him, drops him onto Gerald for a 3 count, and then the heels beat up everyone after the match, and I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah, it literally happened. We forgot to mention in the last match, Valentine.
It did happen in the last match.
Post match, like literally, like almost every single match, the heel beats up the face post match.
Yeah, it's fucking bizarre.
I mean, obviously setting up the feud post Starrcade '83, like you're setting up your next bouts at the next sets of shows, whatever.
Which
but,
I get, but some of them could have
damn.
waited. Some of them could have waited till next Saturday to do that.
Exactly. Yes. Like let the face have a moment to relish in the win. There haven't been many tonight, right? Like fuck.
Yeah, it was very redundant.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Yeah. Very repetitive.
It's a heel world,
Coddle.
and you got to listen to Solie.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Solie tosses to Barbara again, and I guess they can't find her because they don't even go to her because they're just like, oh, well, we don't know where she is. They just stay on Solie and fucking Coddle.
And the credits are rolling.
And the credits are rolling.
Reads them.
That's right. Yeah.
Not rolling. He reads the credits, and it seems like maybe the first 5 or 6 people, he has a remark about that person.
Yeah.
They had those elementary school kids were in the fucking control room, huh?
I can see the stage manager, hit the button.
Then we go to another Dusty interview. And at this point, I think we've seen 2 Flair interviews, and I think I've seen Steamboat 4 or 5 times.
At least
they're
2
killing
Flairs.
time. And right now they're killing time because they're building the cage. But they could be more interesting. Like, how many Flair interviews do you need? How many Steamboat interviews do you need? Like, show them building the cage or show a video package. Show Flair on the beach with his mom. Something.
Show him wheeling away Scott McGee's corpse.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. With zipping a body bag.
Right.
Yeah, Sid Justice comes in and puts him in a body bag.
Papa Shango. Fucking poofs him into smoke.
No, he reanimates his corpse.
He becomes Tom McGee.
And then before the main event, they're doing the national anthem, which is bizarre. That'd be like doing the national anthem before the fucking 4th quarter in the Super Bowl.
Right, like the 7th inning stretch. You're doing the national anthem. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They're killing time to build the cage.
Right, but
is what they're doing.
It's fantastic, though, because the singer is fucking awful. He's like some country dude that nobody's ever heard of. But
James
he's so
Tiny
fucking bad.
Weeks.
Okay, James Tiny Weeks, yeah.
And here we thought Rockin' Robin was bad.
Yeah, Tiny's a reference to his talent, I think. And they're doing it in the dark. Like, there's no spotlight on him, which I can only assume he requested because he knew he was gonna be embarrassed.
Don't show my face. I need work again.
Kayfabe, brother. Yeah, you should have come out in a mask. Borrow one of the assassin's masks.
No, but he was
Out of town Charlie Brown's mask.
he's a Nashville recording artist. But,
Yeah, Nashville recording artist.
but it's probably the same way as saying like somebody's a Broadway performer. Not Broadway, New York, just in a Broadway. Maybe they're on the streets performing.
Right.
And then we get to the main event.
Yep.
This is the main event for the night. This is a cage match for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. The challenger, Ric Flair, versus the champion, Harley Race. Referee is Gene Kiniski.
Gene Kiniski was NWA champ from 66 to 69. So 15 years before this, he was a huge, huge star.
15 years.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a good spot for him. It's better than Johnny Weaver being in the ring, in the match after fucking 25 years.
I thought Kiniski was horrible in this match. He very much, to me,
He was.
he very much distracted.
So much.
Yeah.
He was too involved. He was too involved.
Way
They should have
too
not
involved,
had him.
dude.
I don't know the backstory on why they had him, or if it was just like, let's put a fucking legend in the match.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
Okay.
A known
let's get some
name.
star power.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a big star, but he wasn't the huge star. I mean, you know how the NWA champion was a traveling champion, but he was biggest up in Vancouver, in Al Tomko's territory. Like, he was not a Carolinas guy. I mean, I'm sure he worked there like everybody else did, but that was where he was most well known for, was up there.
Well, I mean, Angelo Mosca
kind
was
of
the guy in the tag team match, right?
Yeah.
I wish that they would have flipped that and put him in this match, because to me,
Yeah.
Kiniski was really a distraction. He
And
really...
Mosca could have gotten more color.
Right. Yeah, it was a cage.
You show up with his cane.
Right.
So notoriously, Vince offered Harley $250,000 to no-show this show and to bring the belt to WWE.
Which, we're talking
and-
83 money, $250K is like...
That was huge.
Yeah,
that was huge.
that's a big deal.
Well, I mean, that was a quarter of what he paid for the company. He paid $1 million for the company.
Right.
So that was a quarter of that.
Right.
Which Vince has always had this big story about it was such a financial risk and it was so hard to pay that money back. And if I missed a payment, the company would go back to them and I'd lose everything. A year later, he's offering Harley fucking $250,000. He's offered a guy with fucking 3 years left of his career $250,000 a no-show. You know what I mean? So he had money. You know, he makes it out like it was such a financial burden to buy that company, but no, it was not.
Was that a thing to like pay off champions? Because apparently Vern Gagne offered Iron Sheik $100K to break Hogan's leg in the match. Like, are those stories true, or is that just stuff that's become true over the years because the story's been told so many times?
No, I think it's true. I mean, those promoters were fucking shady.
Yeah,
you know, all the way
true.
back, all the way back to the 30s. Guys would do shit. They would double cross each other. That's why I always said like Vince is like, oh, Vince is the shady promoter, and it's like, well, he's a shady promoter in a shady business.
Yeah,
he didn't invent being shady in
regulations
wrestling. Like,
were different.
Yeah,
it's not regulations. It's nothing to do with regulations. It's just guys trying out to fuck each other. You know, they would double cross each other. Get a dirty referee. I mean, they would legit have dirty referees like Nick Patrick style, but it was for real, where a guy would come into the territory and lose the title because you got a crooked referee in there. And I mean, this went on, at this point, it'd been 50 years of that. So this is nothing new for Vince to do something like that. It's actually less shady than a lot of shit I've read about, you know? So, but yeah, it's like he paid Harley $250,000 at a no-show. He must not have had Flair's number.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you want to fuck him over and take someone, wouldn't you want Flair?
Yeah, barking up the wrong tree. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, kind of weird.
Good point.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is the main event. Thurman Merman does a Roman Reigns style walk to the ring to give the crowd plenty of time to boo him. You know, he's like soaking up those boos. Like, this is a guy who knows how to
slowly
be
takes a lap. Roman doesn't take laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have time to make some sandwiches.
Kanitsky checks his hair for weapons, which you could definitely hide weapons in that head of hair. And it's a cool cage because you can't climb out of this cage. The rules did not let you. This was not an escape the cage match like WWE. This was a you stay the fuck in the cage. But it had that cut chain link on top where if you climb it, it's almost like barbed wire. It's like a front. It's like someone's front yard in the ghetto. And it was cool. It was a good match. But it was very, very slow for a Flair match. And you could tell that Harley was calling the match.
Yeah.
It was Harley style. It was an old school style. I mean, Flair was already old school at this point, but this match would have fit right into the 60s or 70s, but it didn't quite fit. So for being the main event, it actually wasn't the greatest. It was a good match, but it wasn't a good match, if that makes sense.
I agree. Yeah. It's nothing I'm in a hurry to go back and watch.
Yeah. Even like at one point, Harley hits a pile driver, but he doesn't go for the pin for hella long.
Yeah.
Like a long ass time. And of course, he gets a 2 count, and it's like, well, dude, if you had pinned him within the first 30 seconds of hitting that pile driver, maybe you would have won.
Right.
Harley does a tombstone power slam, I guess you would call it, which was pretty cool. Like, he gets him in a tombstone position. It was almost like an inverted Styles Clash.
Right.
You know, that was pretty cool. But then to get to where you're talking about, Harley backs Flair into the corner and Kanitsky pulls him off of him.
Yeah.
Which is like, why are you pulling him off him? It's a cage match.
It's a cage match, dude.
He can get him in the corners. He could choke him to death.
Right.
That spot, I don't know if you caught this, because Harley bleeds right after it. Harley backed him into that corner because he was pulling a blade from his finger tape.
Oh.
Yeah, because I saw right after he gets shot into the cage and he's bleeding immediately. Okay. And I always try to find that. You know, I always try to see when they do it.
Yeah.
I didn't see him do the blade, but I could tell that when he had him backed into the corner, he was pulling it out of his tape. I didn't see what he did with it after. Because he goes for Flair pins him right after. If he put it on the mat and Kanitsky picked it up, that was some fucking good sleight of hand shit because I didn't see it. So I don't know what happened with that blade. Okay. I guess he could have tossed it through the cage.
When he hit it. Threw it out.
Yeah, it could have been that. Could have bladed himself on the way to the cage and tossed it out. I don't know. But Gordon Solie calls the blood life-giving fluid, which is just so dramatic. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, man.
What?
That's also another type of bodily fluid, but we won't get into that.
Pervs.
Wait, the red stuff or the white stuff?
Flair gets Harley in a figure 4, but then there's a rope break, which I don't like.
Yeah, in a
and
cage?
Gordon Solie says, Yeah, and then Harley also reverses it, and Solie says it's the first time he's ever seen a figure four reverse. So Solie's fucked up now. He's feeling cool. He's forgetting shit, you know. I mean, you see a figure four gets reversed every match.
Right.
And then Harley does a lot of suplexes. Or suples, as Gordon Solie calls him.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the human suplex machine.
Right.
Then you get like a weird spot where Harley somehow headbutted Kaniski and they sort of do a tackle messy thing. And then Flair climbs up to the top rope, hits a splash off the top for a 3 count, and that's it. It was a pretty flat finish, I thought.
It's very flat. It took a while for Kaniski to get over and count. Like, it just didn't look super great. It was almost like anticlimactic. Like, they've really built this match up during the course of the card with like 4 Flair interviews, a minimum of 2 Harley interviews, Dusty challenging the winner. Like, this is like a big deal, and it ends like that. A flying body press that takes a while for the ref to get over and count to 3. Like, Yeah, it kind of wasn't very good. Nah, it really wasn't, dude. It really wasn't.
And then the rest of the show just kind of fizzled out because it's like the faces come out, lift Flair over the shoulders, where you get that iconic shot of him with the blood.
Right.
But then they just kind of stand around for a long time.
Girlfriend, wife comes out, hugs him while he's bleeding.
Yeah, and then his wife comes out, and then in front of the chick he married, he says this is the best day of his life, which was great. And he kind of stands around, and it just sort of seems like they don't know how to end the show.
Yeah.
And
in ring and backstage.
Yeah,
like, they've already rolled the credits. Like, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, it goes from an in-ring interview to backstage for another interview, and I'm like, so this is like Flair interview number 7, or something.
Yeah,
and he is not. This is not the Ric Flair after the '92 Royal Rumble you're getting.
No,
this is a very humble and boring Ric Flair.
Yeah,
actually,
there were no tears in his eye.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, to be fair, was there any DNA left in him? Because I'm just saying, also at the beginning of the match, they haven't changed out the mat. Beginning of the match, he looks down, he's like, challenge accepted or something.
Yeah, so it really fizzled out in a weird way. I really didn't like the last 15 minutes of this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It was like it should have just gone off. It should have gone off the air right after they lifted Flair on his shoulders.
But I mean, at the same time, there's kind of some forgiveness there, because this was anybody's real first shot at what became pay-per-view, right?
I guess, but it wasn't the beginning of TV.
No, but
you know what I mean?
This was a different animal, though, dude. This was a 3-hour show. Yeah. It's produced differently. Like, I don't know. I kind of give them a pass in that regard.
I mean, yeah, I give them a pass, but it's still.
I guess it's good. Like including the post-game with your sports event coverage.
Right, there was no template
in the same block instead of that.
Yeah, but that's a different story with that. That's a different story with sports because a fucking like a football game can end whenever, but they have that TV time until the end of the hour.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So they have to vamp and they have to take up TV time. This was pay-per-view. First of all, you can make the match end whenever you want to end it. Second of all, it's pay-per-view. Go off the air.
Yeah,
you don't have to go till the you don't have to take up the whole time
to the end
slot.
of an hour or something.
Yeah. But there was no template,
right?
Like now, like WWE, I don't want to say that they're cookie cutter, but they kind of have a format to their pay-per-views. Same with WCW back in the day, same with WWF. This was number 1, right? There was no template. This was just kind of like, we're just going to go for it and see what happens. Like you said, maybe there wasn't a stage manager that was directing all of that. I'm kind of curious to go now watch Starrcade 84 and see if what went wrong with this show. Yeah. Did they correct that with next year's show?
Yeah.
I could forgive if I could forgive that. I just can't forgive the credits before the main event.
Well, that was time to build the cage. Right. I think they were filling time because they didn't want to do it post cage match.
But that was the wrong thing to fill that time with.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. I just know why they were doing it.
So we're an hour and 33 minutes into this episode, and I just now realized I didn't hit record on the video. So when you're watching a still image on YouTube, that's why. I know.
Did we already do our blooper reels?
Yeah, those will be good for next year's clip show. So after that, to close the show out, it was cool. I liked it, actually. Sully said that we're entering a brand new era, and he really summed it up. And he had no idea how much of a new era they were entering. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anybody did. I think he just said it because Flair won. But you really did enter a new era. Like, this is really, and this is why I wanted to do the show, to kind of piggyback on the NWA 75th anniversary episode, because you really went from the old NWA, because NWA didn't change a whole lot from the 40s up through the early 80s. But this is where things start to really change. This is where territories start to go out of business.
Yeah. You're right.
Because at this point, just a few months after this is when Vince buys Georgia, right? He already would have bought LA. San Francisco was out of business. It's not too long. Florida's not around too much longer. You know, the territories start dying out. AWA is around a while, but that's not that's not part of the NWA.
A month later, Hulkamania is born.
Hulkamania,
The Rock and Wrestling connection starts to take off.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Everything
Not too much
changes.
longer.
You're absolutely
Everything
right.
changes
dude.
within the next year. Everything is it's a different story.
Yep.
And yeah, like I said, Gordon Solie had no idea how much of a new era we were entering, and it really became Flair's company, or it was Flair's NWA from this point on. He had that title minus 95 days. And a couple other little weird things. He had the title for the rest of the decade. Sting won it, right? When did Sting win it?
Sting won it in
88 or 89?
Yeah, so Sting had it for 95 days and Flair won it back. So from 83
Dusty had it for a minute too.
Dusty had it for a minute.
So did Ronnie Garvin.
And so did Ronnie Garvin, yeah. But those were for a minute. Sting was the longest one. So Flair owned that shit for the rest of the decade.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it was a heel territory.
It was a heel territory, yeah. So Flair was the man.
Yes.
And it was sort of Harley went to WWE not too long after
86.
this. And then he came back and he was a manager for Vader and whatever the fuck. But the old guys, Johnny Weaver, like you said, probably wasn't on the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You probably never even saw Kaniski again.
Yeah, Steamboat gone, Valentine gone, Piper gone.
Yeah, and the NWA of the past. And at this point, Crockett had kind of consolidated power with NWA because he bought Kansas City not long after this,
Right.
St. Louis. And he ended up buying Georgia back from Vince about a year after this. So Crockett starts to kind of, and then he ends up doing, he gets Mid-South and World Class not
Yes.
too long,
Yes.
couple years later. So it really, the whole, that map of the territories that you've seen really changes. So
Yeah. That Mid-South
it
acquisition was huge because it led to
Huge.
one of their greatest tag team of all times in the Fabulous Freebirds, and
Yep.
perhaps the greatest star they ever produced in Sting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, right. Totally. So yeah, this was a very like turning a page with this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So it's actually not that great of a show, but from a historical perspective, it's really an important part of wrestling history.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to do it. Drunk fact, Flair has technically been champion more than 16 times. Did you know this?
I did. Yes.
Okay. He lost it to the Midnight Rider for like a weekend on his first title reign, right?
Yep.
He lost it to Carlos Colon for
That's
like a
right.
day or two, and he lost it to Jack Veneno for, I think, a day. So that's like 3 extra. Those are unrecognized, but
Yeah, I think
they
somebody
count.
was recognizing him as like a 21-time world champion or something like that.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
he had some
yeah.
international reigns or something.
The loss to Harley after this is unrecognized too. He lost to Harley in New Zealand. He won it back 6 days later in Singapore.
Okay.
So he lost it to 4 different people, but they're all unrecognized.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, that's why I think it's AEW is calling him a 21-time world champion.
I think that'd be 20, but I'd have to do that.
That
Maybe there's
math
one that I'm
checks
not aware
out,
of.
but yeah, they're calling. I think it's a 21-time champion.
Yeah, well, Tony Khan was probably hanging out with Jake before doing the math. I don't know.
Party favors.
Hey, let's take it home, Adam. I gotta pee.
Do we do the bottle ratings on NWA or just
Yeah, why not?
WWF?
Oh yeah.
Out of a 6-pack?
I just forget if it's WWF or E only. I don't know.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it 4.5. I would give it 3.5 if it didn't have the historical significance.
Yeah, and I'm giving it 4 only for that reason.
Okay,
Because Ricky Steamboat was on it.
you're right.
Yeah. Makes sense
And Charlie
because I could sympathize with a lot of the production elements. Yeah, 4, but to today's standards, it would be like a 2. Inflation or reverse inflation. That takes care of our episode covering Starrcade 83. Hope you all had fun. Tell us what you think of this episode or the coverage or the actual coverage of the event on social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or the alternates, wrestling_drunk. Tell your family, friends. Heels the faces. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave us reviews so that algorithms improve us. With drunkards, Gordon Solie and Gordon Solie, I'm Adam, reminding all of you to enjoy your buzz, watch wrestling responsibly, drink like nobody's watching. We'll see you all next time for another great episode. 1, 2, 3. Don't frown. I'm going to town with Charlie Brown to drink some Crown. You down?
I played Deuce because Adam said 2.
Is Scott McGee okay?
Read my lips. I don't care what you say.